Taylor Kitsch, congratulations on this new epic John Carter. It seems like it was so much fun to work on.
It was, you know, to go to work any day of the week. You're working with a Mark Strong, Willem, Dafoe, Sam Morton, and every day, obviously, you're with Andrew Stanton. So it's a good day.
It's funny, we were just in with Lynn and I asked her, was it an absolute boys' club on set, and that makes it sound like it absolutely was.
I think so. I mean, I think, you know, it's a great. I don't think she could complain, though, being the only woman on set, so I'm sure she got a lot of attention.
Yeah, and she also said she brought out her inner tomboy, so she was happy as well.
Yeah, she was a lot of fun. I mean, we're so close as friends, and the trust is there, and I had so much fun working with her. And, you know, with trust comes, you can just enjoy it so much more and even take more risks, too, working with each other. So I hope to do it a couple more times.
Yeah. Now, this is a really interesting role for you because we're used to seeing you kind of as the bad boy, whether it's in X-Men Origins Wolverine or Friday Night Lights. And, you know, now you're a tragedy-stricken American Civil War hero who finds himself somewhat bewildered on Mars with some superpowers. I mean, was it just the script that drew you, or were you a fan of the novels originally?
Well, I think it's my job to keep throwing curveballs, by the way.
You do that very well.
Yeah. And yeah, I mean, to work with these guys, the cast that we just listed is a no-brainer, and to, you know, the whole arc of John Carter is incredible. And it really boiled down to that first meeting with Stanton, and you walk out of there, you know, with his energy with this project is obviously so infectious, and the character to be able to portray that full spectrum that he gave me is very fulfilling.
Yeah, and I hear you really immerse yourself in the role, like you investigate a lot of the history of the American Civil War and stuff. Can you tell me about that?
Yeah, I studied with historians in Texas, and you know, my first meeting I think was 9 hours sitting in this guy's house, and obviously those guys are mad for the Civil War, like they live for it. So I you know, you're just everything is thrown at you in that first meeting with him. But it was an amazing thing. There's little things that you really do learn. And, you know, the books that he gave me to read or asked me to read. And then I read a lot of letters that these veterans wrote home. And believe me, that is some intense stuff. And to, you know, pick, you know, what is really applicable to this guy really helped me. And just created that base for me to draw from.
And apart from the history, I mean, talk about throwing yourself into something, literally. I mean, the physicality of this role is incredible. I mean, there's sword fight scenes. You seem to be on, you know, flying through the air for half of the film.
I know.
How did you deal with it? I hear it was so intense you actually had, you know, problems, like health problems. Is that true?
Yeah, I suffered from exhaustion, but that's just from the marathon of it all. I mean, the health, there's a lot of injuries, like high ankle sprain, 2 groin pulls, hamstring pull. Arm went numb for like an hour one day on set. Got stitched up quite a few times. But, you know, I think it really is that energy that needs to be in the film. And that's what, you know, enhances that escape. I mean, look, it's life and death like 90% of the time it felt like when I'm on Mars. So that energy just needed to be there.
Talk about suffering for your art. And aren't you a nutritionist? I mean, is this going to be your thing for all of your roles? It's like Christian Bale, you're just weight changing.
I mean, I think you got to do what the character asks for. You know, I've done the opposite and losing 35 pounds for Kevin Carter as well in the Bang Bang Club. So it's just doing the character honestly as you can.
Yeah. And tell me about working with Andrew Stanton on his first live action. I hear he just brought everyone together. But was it different? Do you think there was a difference from him coming from animation in the way that he worked with you?
I don't know. I don't think it is that. I think it's really just it boils down to this guy's passion to tell a story, and that's so infectious. And it's really story first, story last. And you know, it goes back to that first meeting, preparation, floor to ceiling, and he never talked about the grandeur of the film, the whole. You know, it wasn't about the great white apes. It was about John Carter and the arc of him. And that's when you know as an actor you're going to be safe, and that's when you want to battle with him and go to war with him and just, you know, do whatever it takes to make this film what it deserves.
And as with every sci-fi story, I mean, the novels have a very hardcore fan base. Is that kind of daunting going into a project where you know people are going to be comparing the novels and the film?
I'll tell you what's daunting. I mean, my job is, you know, that's the beauty with my work or being an actor. Everyone's going to have a different, that's why he had a worldwide search for John Carter to find him, who that guy is going to be, because everyone's going to make it their own. And that's the beauty of it. You make it your own. And I'll tell you, pressure is playing a guy that's truly has lived life and has left a legacy in Kevin Carter. and his family and his best friends offset watching you portray them. So that's pressure. So there's no messing around with that. But I mean, so I had done that, and this was more of a journey within Stanton and the storytelling of the script and Edgar Rice Burroughs' novels. So I mean, they're way different.
You seem like an actor who values your privacy, and you have avoided becoming, you know, tabloid fodder. I mean, with this film, all going well, which I'm sure it will, I'm sure it's going to be a huge hit. It's going to be a franchise.
I hope so.
Yeah, obviously. Were you worried at all, though? I mean, not only about the commitment, but about, you know, the level of profile it's going to give you, that it might change your lifestyle?
Yeah, I think so much. I mean, yeah, there's no getting around it, especially with Battleship and Savages after this. It's a big year, so it's a matter of just, I think a lot of it comes down to making the right choices. I don't live in LA or New York. I've done it. I live in Austin, Texas. I live like on this small apartment in Austin in this little nook, so it's not like I'm out there. So, and that's a choice. And, you know, the exposures, it comes with it, and I think it's deservedly in the sense of taking that risk to do these guys. It's fine with me.
Now, you mentioned your upcoming project, Battleship, which is sci-fi action, which also stars Rihanna. And then, of course, you're working with Oliver Stone on Savages. Could you tell us a little bit about both projects? Yeah,
I mean, Pete Berg, who cast me in Friday Night Lights, this TV show I did for 5 years, he cast me as Tim Riggins. And to reunite with him, he actually came to London to pitch Battleship. And there's also a guy named Liam Neeson in the film, by the way.
Oh, I think I've heard of him, yeah.
So there's that as well. And so to re-engage with Pete was pretty much the sole purpose of me doing Battleship. And then with Oliver Stone, you know, when Oliver calls, you're going to pick up. And so it's a matter of, you know, going and engaging with the John Travolta, Benicio del Toro, Uma Thurman, Selma Hayek. And the story is incredible. It's truly a film about power and what people do to get it or to attain it or to keep it. And it's a great, great film. And
has working with Oliver lived up to your expectations?
I loved it. I really did. I love the challenge, and I think you can either rise to it or succumb to it. And, you know, I love being a part of that film.